that record. Okay, so I put it right here, my slideshow. I'm not going to expand it. So we're going to be switching back and forth to different web pages anyway. So yeah, hello everyone. My name is Francis Allegre, and I am a recovering addict. For real, I am. I'm addicted to running, and I'm recovering from my injuries from different running. And that leads me to what I'll be presenting today, which is my race tracker app. So my race tracker app is a personal app that I did to solve a couple of problems that I have personally, personal problems. Okay, let's go to second slide. Oh, let me know if you guys could see it as well or not. I could zoom in and zoom out if the font's like too small or if it's, I don't know, too big. If I could, I don't know. Well, that doesn't work. Yeah, might be okay for now. Yeah, so some of the problems that I've encountered when I'm doing this competitive running. So for anyone who doesn't know, I like to compete in running, be it marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, and also obstacle course racing. I enjoy doing that until this year when I got a couple of injuries, and then my doctor told me not to run for a bit. So instead of running, I started coding something for my racing. And couple of problems that I've encountered was before I would only compete in races based on how I feel about my readiness. Like it's not backed up by data. What I mean by that is if I feel like, oh, can I run a marathon tomorrow or can I run only just 5K? That's my only condition if I would run a race or not. The other problem that I have is most of the time when I get overwhelmed with different races, I would sign up for 2 or more races in the same weekend, but different venues. This happens to me because Savage Race, Bone Frog, Spartan races, these are obstacle course racing franchises, and they usually put up their races kind of like the same weekend as one another because obviously they're competing. And alongside with that, sorry, go ahead. Hello? Okay. Yeah. Alongside with that, there's different links for these different races. As I have it up right there. There's the Spartan race. How do I hide this thing? Um, oh no. There's the Spartan race. There's the Bone Frog. There's the Savage race, and they have like their own different types of racing and like um, different links. And that's how I would get confused if I have signed up for one or the other. Um, Also, one of my problem is that I am uncertain about the weather of the places at times. So back in 2019, I ran in what was it, New York, Cortland, New York, when it was like March, and I didn't realize that it'll be that cold. So I had hypothermia during the run. Um, and sometimes I also don't recall if I have signed up for an obstacle course racing or a normal road or trail race. And this is important for me because if I know that I signed up for a normal road or trail race, then I could just not focus on training my upper body or just like focus on continuously running rather than mixing it up with strength training and obstacle training. And lastly, I want to see and review the routes that I took because I'm bad at directions. And I'm calling out on Dom right here because when Dom left me, um, I get lost with the routes that we have here in Herndon. I know it's a silly thing, but when Dom was running with me before, he's the one who would tell me where to go left or right, and I would just follow him. But now that he moved out of Virginia, I'm having a hard time trying to get back into that, like, you know, autopilot. I had to punch in the address on my GPS. I mean, Garmin GPS. It tells me actually where to turn left or turn right. Um, so yeah, the solution for this is a centralized application that will do the following. It will have a calendar view where I could see all the events and event details such as the weather, links, distance, type of race. It will pull down my training data from Strava. For anyone who doesn't know what Strava is, it's an internet service for tracking human exercises, and it's also agnostic of your fitness tracker. So if you're using Garmin, Fitbit, or Apple Watch, if you're connected to Strava, you could, you could still use it. And if someday down the road, I'd switch from Garmin to a different Fitbit, Fitbit or different fitness tracker, then my historical data would still be intact. Um, and I'll be using this data for readiness of my race. Um, and obviously, a map with all the training or race routes plotted into it. Um, Before I go to the tech stack, anyone have questions with the problem and solution? Okay, I'll take that as no. We'll go now with my tech stack. So with my tech stack, my database is a MySQL. Server side, I use Java Spring Boot Hibernate. Um, for front ends, I'm using React hooks and different libraries such as Prime React for styling, full calendar for your calendar, leaflet for the map, and then Mapbox for the geocoding. And then I have two external services that I'm using, which is Strava API and then Open Weather API. Um, so now I'm just gonna demo to you how the app looks like. Um, so far, if we go to, this is the landing page that I have, just a basic full calendar right here, and then run a race ready percentage, and then total runs this month. So far, I only have 2.39 because um, it I just ran yesterday for 2 miles, and I don't want to fake the data, so I had to force myself and run yesterday just to put it in there. Um, and since I don't have any race plotted, the total target distance is 0 miles. But we can do like add a race, let's say here in this coming December, December 10, new race. And let's say it's going to be a road race, and then say it's going to be 3 miles, and then 20171, and then let's give it like a fake link for now, and then let's add that up. Now, when we add that up, my app knows that, hey, since you've already ran 2.39 miles, and your target distance this whole month is 3 miles, then you are 79% ready to run this race. Um, and if we open that newly added race, you'll see that it has that direct reflection that I'm 79.67% ready to run a 3 mile race. However, if we add, let's say, another one, another race, another race, it's an OCR that's like 1 mile, and let's give it that, and another fake link. My red race percentage for this month goes down because now my total target distance for this month is 4 miles, but I've only ran 2.39 miles. Um, and if we check the previous one, this still says that I'm 79.67% ready for this coming race. Um, But for this one, which is 1 mile, my app already knows that, oh, since you've already ran 2.39 miles, 1 mile should be easy for you. And also tells me the weather that day. So in in 20132, which is Percival, this December 7, it's going to be 49:55 that day. I guess I should put like the time as well, but I haven't gotten to that one. That's some of the future features that I'll be doing, but this gives me an estimate like, oh, I should be preparing like long sleeves, um, beanies and stuff. And I also have that link. Um, the other good thing about the app that I have is I could go back in time, see my previous races. So if we go back to November, um, you'll see that November 20, I ran this 30-miler race. This needs to be updated, and this one needs to be updated as well. Um, but the thing that I like about going back in time um, is that I could actually click this link, and it would bring me back to that. Would take me to that race event page where all the details about the race is listed. They're all listed right here. So I guess that's kind of nice. Um, there's still a couple of like loose ends that I need to do with this one, but yeah, that's one part of the race tracking app. And same goes with if I delete this, it gets this thing gets updated to 239%. And um, I was talking to Diane, I was like, maybe I should put it to 100%, but in reality, I'm definitely 239, 100%, 239% ready for a 1 miler because I've run two plus miles for a 1 miler.
Can I
Um,
ask a question? Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
So your calculations, so say you're running a marathon or the 30-mile race, and
Yeah.
so are your calculations just based on training to reach that across the entire month? So, if you ran 26 miles across a month, you're not necessarily ready for a marathon all at one time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But your
Yeah.
calculations are just based on total mileage?
Yes.
Okay.
Because one thing that I've noticed about myself is if I could run, let's say today I ran 15 miles and then tomorrow I would run and then 10 miles, which is closer to a marathon. After 2 or 3 days, I know myself that I could run a marathon, a full marathon. So that's like where I back it up with data rather than just by the feel that I have problems before. So yeah.
Hey, Francis, this is Joel. One of the
Yeah.
things that I didn't realize when you showed us last time, because it was near the end of the month, is you might want to make this more on like a rolling 30-day window or 60-day window or whatever makes sense to you. Because if you had a marathon the first day of the month, you would never be able to be prepared for it, right?
Yeah, that's another future thing that I want to do because one thing that I haven't considered right here was the recovery. Because
That
if
too.
yeah, because like here in November 20, I did a 30-miler, and supposedly this coming days I should be in recovery period, but since I don't have data for today, I had to run 2 miles yesterday. It doesn't take into consideration the previous runs that I did or the recovery period. But yeah, that's a good point, Joel. I'll have to add that up in the future. Again, this app is not just one and then. Gonna continuously working on. I'll continuously work on this app because it's helpful for me. Um, so anyway, this is one part of the app, which is the dashboard race calendar. Anyone have questions before I move to the training map? Okay. So the other thing that I was saying is that so this dashboard solves this couple of problems right here. So I could figure out if I sign up for the race, if I'm ready for the race, or where am I gonna go? What's the weather? What were the links for the race that I sign up? What type of race it is? And then the second, well, one other problem that I have here is I want to see and review the routes that I took because I'm bad at directions. Um, if we go to the run maps, we'll be able to see like list of um, other runs that I did for this month. The one that I put road is just saying that I ran on treadmill. Um, if it's a no, but if it's a yes, then I ran on road. Um, and I'll sort it up by date. Obviously, this is also sort able. Um, if I click this one, it would soon will pan to the the route that I took. And if I click on that one, it gives me the distance, the time, the total elevation, and the total time that I ran that 2 miler. And again, the other thing that I enjoy about this is it gives me um, the historical data. So, for example, this 30 miler that I did, I'll have to close that. That's another bug, but I'll focus on that later. Um, if I click on this is the 30 miler. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it I started like 6:42, and then it's 30 miles. Total time is like 11, and gives me the total elevation. Um, and it gives me that data. Oh, I did this one for 11 hours. I could probably do it in like 10 hours next year. Um, and then um, one thing that I'm happy about was in um, April 10. This is when Dominic and I ran 26 miles, but I ended it late. I ended early. We started from our office to Purcellville, and that's like full 26 miles. But I ended up my GPS earlier, and then gives me the details. So anyway, this is the second part. I could go back in time and then see the different runs that I did and see where it is. And yeah, I did that color changing in purpose, so I want it to be colorful. Um, but any questions before I go to the codes?
Yeah, did it really take you 11 hours to run 30 miles?
Yeah,
It does,
unfortunately.
yeah.
It was on a mountain, so that's another
That's
challenge.
your burger. Yeah.
Yeah, so Francis, do you
Now,
rest?
now
Do you
Katie has
rest?
to do it faster. Katie has to do it faster. It sounds like CP on the gauntlet there.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe not on a mountain. Yeah, I don't think I could ever run for 11 hours.
Oh, but Katie, you could do a lot of Peloton. I was telling Jeff the other day that I did Peloton there in the office, and for first 20, well, the only 20 minutes of my life, I feel like I'm struggling already, and it's a beginner class. So I'll probably talk to you about that.
Have to mix the angle. I'll run with you and you Peloton with me.
I'll be down to do that. Um, any questions for before I move to the codes? Going once. Okay. Um, so I'll go to codes now. Let me zoom in as well. Is that better for everybody?
Yep.
Yeah. So one thing that I like about Prime React, well, I guess I'll give a quick story about this Prime React. When I was doing Spring MVC before, I was using JSF. I'm bad at CSS. I'm bad at designing, um, and I encountered Prime faces. Um, so apparently they did a version of it for React, which is called Prime React. It's a UI library where they have different components, and it's easier to like design things. Um, and one thing that I like about them is their themes. Um, so right now, if you look into my app, it's an Aria Blue, but I could easily just actually let me just show you this thing. Like you see those buttons and this thing. I could easily just like comment that out and then open a different one, like Saga Purple, I think. That's another one. Yep. And then it automatically changed everything for me, um, for the colors and all. Um, Same with the other Saga Green, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So it just changes things for you instantaneously. And if you have your components, obviously I have to do some minor changes, but you know, the the styling itself is already there and ready to be used. Um, so let me put back to the dark theme because I prefer the dark one.
Can you make it a different theme for each month, or it has to be the same?
I can, because like they have these themes readily available, and I could just do some sort of like conditional coding right there and have it change it every time. Um, but I just prefer the dark ones.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll start with the app because this is where everything started, and they have the sidebar menu and the race router. And then this part, this whole thing comes from the. Let's go to sidebar menu so we could just see where the component flow. Sidebar menu, we have the dashboard, and we have the run maps, and this is connected to. Actually, I should just minimize this one to the router, where we have the dashboard and the training map. Um, if we go to dashboard.js, I'm just going to jump right into the render real quick. Um, we'll see that there's the progress bar and then the total runs that I have, and then the race calendar. And then one more thing, if we go to race calendar, we'll be able to see um, the full calendar itself. There's a toast as well. And then there's this modal dialog that I have. So for dashboard, where's that use effect? The first thing that it does is it picks up my race service. So my race service, um, I should probably talk about that first, but my race service is the 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 Spring Boot RESTful API that I did. It's a simple one, really easier to do. And that's the first thing that's getting called in dashboard.js. It picks up all of the races that I'll be doing for the coming month, and then just some sort of like filtering right there, and then it set events, and then we pass it as a prop for the race calendar. Um, and in race calendar, um, obviously we picked that up as events, and those are getting plotted to the full calendar that I have. Um, and then the dialogue, just these components are just the components that Prime React is giving me, so I'm just taking advantage of them. They have full documentation on their website. um, and then these events can be modified or not. When you add, I have the CRUD operation up here. um, there's the delete, the update, and the add as well. Um, they're all coming up there. Let's see. Also, I need to show right here. Oh, the computation is here in the dashboard because this is where we set those the total training and the target distance. Um, so here in the dashboard, I also pick up the Strava service. It gets all my activities and then just sum all of them. I'll sum all of my run distances, and then I had to convert it to miles because it's in kilometers, and then do some basic percentage calculation right there, um, and then just flop it in this part. Um, let's see. Uh, I guess before I move to the training map, do you have like big questions? Because I don't want to like go to like nitty gritty of the codes. I I'll my GitHub is up there, and I'll share it to folks after. Um, yeah, do you have like any specific questions before I move to the training map.js?
What was the hardest part on the front end? What was the hardest thing to code?
The hardest thing to code for me, it would, I wouldn't say hardest, but tedious. And I know when I presented this to you guys, you showed me something about the form, because there's a bunch of, I didn't realize that it would get this spaghetti and hairy when I've been adding up a lot of, forms, and then I have to put up these different ugly hooks up there. I mean, it's necessary, but um, I think this is the tedious part for me. And then the other one would be, um, let's see, one of the hardest thing I would say is the validation, because there right now there's really no validation in the app. Like I could put
Gotcha.
that up. And like that's gonna be in the later part, but that's something that I um didn't anticipate until down the road. I know that it's something that I should be doing at the very beginning, but I was just like, oh, let's get this ready. Um, the the other one is learning about um, course. Actually, I have to talk about that because um,
Real quick before we leave the forum, what
yeah,
Francis is talking about, we talked about either using Formic or React Hook Form or React
yeah,
Final Form. They all have kind of the utilities to handle a lot of the
validations.
validation and the messiness that he had there. So the binding and everything.
And one thing about that, Joel, I found out that Prime React is also supporting Formic.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
just saw it here earlier. Yeah. Yeah, they're supporting it as well. So the styling here wouldn't be that drastic if I have changed it to a different color. So if they support it, then it would be easier for me to like just hook it up. But yeah, that's down the road.
Cool.
The other, I guess, the other problem that I've encountered, the other hurdle that I encountered was doing the course, because I was not familiar with that security. So I'm just gonna go step into the Java code real quick. So the server side right here, the RESTful API is done by it's done here in Spring Boot, and I enjoy learning about Spring Boot because when I did Spring MVC before, there's a lot of boilerplates. I had to do DAOs, and now I only have this four. I only have this four files. Yes, it's simple, but it's just like pretty straightforward. I don't have to do other things, and even this race.java is just a generated Eclipse generated Pojo and readily used. So the only coding that I have here specifically is just this part, the endpoints. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Yeah, it's pretty much just the endpoints. This is the only coding part that I have here. For the race repository, it's just an interface that extends from JPA repository, and I think that eliminates the use of data access objects. And then the race.java that I have is the poacher that I was telling you guys about that's generated by Eclipse for me. But the tricky part that I've encountered was the course, because I wasn't aware about it until I did this app. Apparently, I have to do something like this that would allow the the front end to do these calls. Um, I would say that took me a while to get it up and running, because I feel like in Postman, that's the tricky part. In Postman, if you call these endpoints, um, they would return something, they would save, they would do the CRUD. But on your app, if you try to call them, you'll get the pre-flight complaints, nothing's going to happen. It just throws a console error. So yeah, to answer your question, Joel, I think that's the hardest for me, because it's tricky. Like I didn't know where where to look for before.
And the reason you ran in that is your server URL was different than your client URL,
Yes.
correct? Yeah,
Yes.
so that's the main. If you had them both on the same server, then it would have
Yeah.
would have run into the CORS issue.
Yes, but it's a
that
good
was
learning
hard.
curve for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be hard to do given the tech stack you have here. So, for those of you that don't know, Spring Boot is a server-side Java framework, kind of similar to .NET in the .NET world, or Rails in the Rails world, or Django in the Python world, or I guess Node Express in the JavaScript world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go now to training map.js. So the training map.js, this one is the one that's using the leaflet. Leaflet is it's a map API that uses OpenStreet, the one that I have on the app. What this one is trying to do is picking up all the activities that I have from Strava, and then I have the Mapbox decoder. So I would use this Mapbox decoder and decode the summary polyline, and then the summary polyline would give me the lat long. I just want to show everyone what that looks like first, I guess. Put this up. Let's go right here. So if we go to an activity here, this is this one. Oh, because there's only two. Let me go to November. That would give me more. Yep. So if we go to the returns, if we go to the map, it gives us this hash, this long hash for summary polyline. And in the code, what the Mapbox decoder is trying to do is that decode this whole thing and this whole hash, and it would return a key, not key value first, but pairs of lat long. And then that lat long will be used for plotting it in my polylines, which is right there, that route. These are these are array of lat longs just being passed as positions, and then the map box would lay it out for me. And then for anyone who've used Leaflet before, either in React or other apps, one thing that you may notice here, because of how React hooks uses hooks rather than the class one, before you could just call map globally, but for React hooks, they are saying that you have to have a mini component, which is a map panner. So the map panner is the one I use to get called to zoom in or pan to the different areas in the map, and then have it pass whatever the lat long. This is a lat long pair, by the way. This map pan 2, it accepts a lat long pair, just like this one. And we have to put it right there inside the map container as a mini component. So we'll be able to access this map that they have their custom hook that we could call, which is use map. Yeah, and then the weather is just calling the weather service, and then I'm passing in the zip code, and obviously it just returns the whatchamacallit, the weather for it. Yeah, I guess that's what I have here, unless there are other questions. Yeah, anyone? or if there's something that you want me to go back. Oh yeah, the GitHub for here is the codes that I have here is available on my GitHub. If you guys want to just take a look or like pick up something right there, it's right here. And then go back to this part. Yeah, these are the lesson learned that I've learned. Lessons learned doing this app, the cross-origin resource sharing, and obviously the React hooks and custom hooks. So I also built my custom hook right there to use the previous values, which is not available for React. And then for future items, I want to have the notification capability wherein it would text me that, hey, Francis, you have an upcoming raise. Also, I wanted to have a calendar subscription so that I could just subscribe it on my Google Calendar, and then my my Alexa would just tell me that, hey, there's this upcoming event. And yeah, I'll definitely add the conditions that Joel and Katie talked about earlier, where it should factor in the recovery and the previous raises that I've done.
All right, I want to ask everybody how many people's Alexas just went off when Francis said that.
Mine. I know, that's what I was trying not to say too.
Thanks. Thanks.
I was trying not to. I was like, yeah, and one tool that Louise showed me when I'm building this app was this Trello. This is when I keep track of my to-dos and what I've been doing, just to keep it organized so I could see where I'm at and what I want to do for this app. So yeah, any questions?
Follow me back on Strava. I followed you.
Really? Okay, I'll follow Ed. All righty. I guess we're good.
Thank you, Francis.
Yeah.
Thanks, Francis.
Hey,
Thank
Francis,
you.
nice job, man.
Great,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Hey, guys.
See ya.
Well, I still wanted to see Francis.
I think you
I
can
didn't
just
wanna-
see the.
See you, Francis.
See ya.